Hello, friends. Welcome to our first assignment for Thor, for our Thor unit, where we are answering the question, what makes Thor a relevant character to modern audiences? Now, before this, we talked about what makes a character relevant to us. I had you think about T'Challa or Steve Rogers or Miles Morales and recognize that for a character to be relevant to us, we need to connect with those characters. And we connect with those characters in many different ways. So we're going to start using that skill of making a connection to a character in our Thor story. Our story today is called Thor's Journey to the Land of the Giants. It's one of the original Norse myths, and it's been adapted by a modern writer named Neil Gaiman. So our first step is obviously to watch the video that you're watching right now. And our learning target today is you can share examples of what makes Thor relevant to me after reading this story. So let's talk about how we're going to do this. So the next step after you watch this video is to listen and read along while I read Thor's Journey to the Land of the Giants, Part 1. I have it here. You can read along and listen along with me. If you don't want to watch me read it aloud, you can access just a plain copy of the short story. It's about 24 pages total. Here, you can read it on your own if you want. If you want to listen to me read and follow along on your own, you'll click the video and watch the video. I couldn't make the video in one big chunk. I had to split it in half. So when you're done with the first half, come on down and we'll continue step 2 with listen and reading along while I finish Thor's Journey to the Land of the Giants, Part 2. Okay. When you are done listening and reading the story, I want you to stop and think about the ways Thor could be relevant to you in this story and then fill out the form. You filling out this form is the way you will share your ideas with me. And your answers should include some evidence from the story. So just to remind you, the different ways that we as individuals connect to characters and the way that they're relevant to us is the more connections, the more relevant. We can aspire to have those characters' strengths. So if you see Thor do something that uses like some of his great power or one of his superhero skills, we want to be able to do that. Even if we know it's not going to ever happen, we feel good. We feel a connection to that character when we want to do what they can do. We also build that character can also be relevant to us when we start to recognize ourselves in their faults or their weaknesses. Thor is known for willing to get into a fight at any time. He loves to fight people. Do you see that in yourself? Are you someone who's quick to a fight? Then maybe Thor can be relevant to you. We can also empathize when they face challenges or struggles. If we see something happen where his brother tricks him again, and he gets into a tricky situation, it's like, yeah, I know what that's like. I have brothers who are always, or I have uncles, or I have family or friends who are always doing something like someone that Thor goes through. Okay. We can just laugh at something that they say or do. When we find someone funny, they're relevant to us. They make a good connection. We can be impressed by something that Thor says or does. And they become relevant to us when we can understand why they're doing what they're doing. It may not make sense, but if we understand it, we understand where their behavior is coming from, what motivates them, that helps us feel connected. So to end today, you will be done when you fill out the form. It'll take you right here. Once you fill out that form, it sends the data to me. What I'm going to do with the information is I'm going to start to compile it all. So each person who fills out the form, I'm going to start looking for patterns. I'm going to see, what do people say when they recognize themselves in Thor's faults or weaknesses? Or I'm going to look for the patterns in what makes more people laugh at Thor. And then I'm going to start sharing some of this data back, what the whole class has to say. And we're going to start to have more conversations about why Thor is a character who's relevant to us, or maybe why he's not. Okay. So just to recap what we're doing, our focus today is that after listening and reading to Thor's Journey to the Land of the Giants, you can share examples of what makes Thor a relevant character to you. And you will do that.
Sure.
by filling out this Google form. Thanks. Let me know if you have questions.